Hidden liabilities aren't balance sheet items. They're untested assumptions that quietly steer hiring, automation, and strategy. Today, the Learning Debt Ledger, a one-line habit you can run in under 10 minutes to surface and retire the assumptions eating your optionality. I'll give the exact ledger schema, 3 enforcement patterns to make it sticky, and 2 constrained AI prompts to accelerate the work. Quick, practical, no fluff. Make your next move count.
Short and useful. Love it. Before we dive, one framing note. This isn't a to-do list for bureaucracy. It's about turning fuzzy beliefs into the smallest possible tests, so you either learn quickly or stop pretending you know. Patterns create power.
Exactly. Core insight in 60 seconds. Organizations accumulate learning debt when assumptions are unrecorded, untested, and allowed to age. Over time, those assumptions compound, driving hires, product features, and automation until you're executing on yesterday's model. Surfacing assumptions forces prioritization, reduces stealth risk, and preserves optionality because you can decide based on fresh evidence rather than default belief.
And the practical payoff is immediate. Fewer costly hires based on guesswork, fewer automation bets built on unverified accuracy, and clearer signals for product direction. Good assumptions survive tests. Bad ones get retired fast.
Move 1. The ledger token, your one-line schema. Copy this exactly. Assumption, falsify test, metric plus minimal action. Owner, deadline, ISO, decay rule, days. If you paste nothing else from this episode, paste that. Now 3 copy-paste examples to make it concrete. Example 1. Pricing channel thesis. Assumption. Paid search at $80 CPC will acquire customers at LTV/CAC greater than 3. Falsify test. Run 7-day test with $2,000 spend, track CAC and 30-day cohort LTV. Metric equals CAC. Owner, growth lead. Deadline, 2026-0126. Decay rule, 30 days.
Example 2. Automation accuracy. Assumption. Auto-tagging model will hit greater than 92% precision on priority transactions. Falsify test. Label 500 recent transactions. Run model. Metric equals precision at priority. Owner, MLOps. Deadline, 2026-0128. Decay rule, 14 days. That one prevents building pipelines before the model actually performs.
Example 3. Hiring skill gap. Assumption. Senior PM hire will unblock roadmap X within 90 days. Falsify test. Candidate trial week with prioritized deliverable. Metric equals deliverable completeness score, 0 to 10. Owner, head of product. Deadline, 2026-0215. Decay rule, 60 days. If the assumption doesn't survive the minimal test, don't double down.
Those examples show the ledger isn't about completeness. It's about forcing a falsifier and an owner. If there's no measurable metric and a short deadline, it doesn't qualify. That rule alone avoids turning the ledger into paperwork.
Move 2. Enforcement patterns. 3 rules to stop learning debt from becoming theater. First, test window. Every new ledger entry must include an owner deadline and a test window that starts immediately. If the owner doesn't run the micro-test by deadline, escalate automatically to the weekly review and require a one-line justification to renew the deadline.
Second, evidence gate. Make certain commitments gate protected. For example, block any decision that dilutes equity beyond a small threshold or commits more than X dollars to automation unless the corresponding assumption has passed its falsify test. That forces evidence before money or headcount moves.
Third, debt roll-up. Publicize outstanding high-risk assumptions once a week. No hiding. A one-page roll-up lists open ledger rows, their owners, deadlines, and current status. That public visibility creates social enforcement and surfaces systemic risk patterns.
Together, those 3 rules prevent 2 common failure modes: entries that never get tested, and teams using the ledger to justify inertia. The roll-up makes deferred assumptions visible. Then you either test, retire, or explicitly reauthorize with a short note.
Move 3. 2 constrained AI patterns to accelerate ledger population and experiment design. Prompt A extracts candidate assumptions from meeting notes. Prompt B drafts a 7-day microtest. I'll give both prompts as tight templates you can paste into your AI workflow. Constrain them to include provenance and rough cost time estimates so you don't get fanciful suggestions.
From these meeting notes, list candidate assumptions as one-line entries with provenance. Output format, assumption, source, speaker, date, note line, likelihood, low, med, high, suggested metric. Only include assumptions that imply a decision or commit. If no testable metric exists, flag as needs metric. Use that to auto-scan meetings for potential ledger rows.
2 quick guardrails for Prompt A: require the provenance line and disallow hallucinated specifics. The AI should only repeat what was said in the notes, plus a conservative metric suggestion. If the model invents data sources, reject and ask for provenance again.
Prompt B, micro-test draft. Given this assumption and context, propose a 7-day micro-experiment that would plausibly falsify the assumption. Output: 1. Minimal action steps, bullet list. 2. Single primary metric to measure. 3. Estimated cost time. 4. Data sources required. Constrain solutions to existing internal tools and less than $5,000 spend. Include a one-line feasibility note. That constraint avoids fanciful, infeasible tests.
And operationally, require a human one-line acceptance before the test is created in any task system. AI drafts, humans greenlight. That prevents wasted runs on infeasible suggestions.
Pilot and fast action, your 7-day script. Day 0. Add 3 high-risk assumptions to the ledger using the schema we covered. Day 1. Run Prompt A on last week's meeting notes and any flagged needs metric items to a triage list. Day 2. For each of your 3 assumptions, run Prompt B and select the single microtest per assumption. Days 3 to 7. Execute microtests, publish results to the weekly DAT rollup, and schedule a 10-minute review on Day 8 to decide retire, iterate, or escalate. Do this sequence once this week.
A practical tip: pick assumptions that, if wrong, change the plan materially. Those are high leverage. And keep tests minimal. If the experiment takes longer than 7 days or requires heavy integration, it isn't a microtest. Break it down further.
A couple of closing cautions aligned to real risks. Don't let the ledger become a ritual. We mitigate that by refusing entries without a measurable metric, enforcing hard deadlines with automatic escalation, and constraining AI outputs to include provenance and cost estimates. Those 3 mitigations keep the ledger honest.
If you do this one week, you get 2 wins: clear prioritization and a culture that treats assumptions as first-class operating assets. Patterns create power. Fast feedback beats long debates.
Final line. Before the week ends, add 3 high-risk assumptions to your learning debt ledger and schedule the microtests. 1 short habit, big upside. Clarity is leverage. Subscribe for daily briefings like this if you want more tactical frameworks and the exact templates to operationalize them. Stay agentic.